Empathy. This is a term that we're hearing a lot of. People are using it, but what exactly is empathy? And is it something you either have or don't have, or could it actually be developed? Stay tuned. Today we're going to talk about empathy. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Shimi Kang. Thanks so much for joining. Don't forget to leave your comments and subscribe below. So let's talk about this term empathy. It's something that you'll find in job descriptions, in university admissions, in people describing people they admire. Empathy. It's a really bit of a buzzword right now, but what exactly is it? Empathy is a skill where an individual is able to fully understand another's experience. A common way is described as the ability to walk in someone else's shoes, to really feel the way they may feel without being that person. So putting yourself in their shoes, walking a mile, understanding their perspective from an emotional level. It's really different than sympathy, which is being with someone, being sympathetic to their situation or needs. Empathy means within, is really experiencing within their perspective, whereas sympathy is being with. So it's the root of these words really tell us a lot about the difference in their meaning. So empathy is something that's actually tied to better health, better physical and mental health. People who are empathic and are able to understand perspectives have better relationships and better relationships with themselves, including self-care practices, which lead to better health. It leads to better happiness if you're healthy and your relationships are more nurturing and positive. And it leads to better success, whether you're in school or a workplace. We are social beings, and our ability to connect and work with people in teams is a key to our health, happiness, and success. So empathy is a super skill really for personal, professional, and sustainable lifetime success. Empathy is actually hardwired in us. We humans have something called mirror neurons, really interesting parts of our nervous system which get activated when we have experiences with other humans. We actually can't help ourselves but being empathic. For example, I often tell the story, if you're walking in a hallway, let's say, with your arch enemy, someone you really don't like, but they're about to get hit in the head by, let's say, a low beam, you'll reflexively move your head and you'll actually kind of gesture them to duck reflexively because our mirror neurons are firing. We don't want to get hurt, and we naturally, instinctively would want to pass that on to another individual, even if we don't like them. That's the power of empathy and those mirror neurons. They are in us. They are part of who we are, and we are hardwired to be empathic. However, despite that, we know rates of empathy are actually going down. Empathy requires human interaction. It gets cultivated through things like eye contact and facial expression, through understanding of other people's perspectives and exposure to people who are diverse and different, through storytelling and connection. So the more we are disconnected, whether it's through an urban lifestyle or a busy lifestyle or technology in our phones, all of that is impacting our ability to feel and experience and develop empathy. That is actually really serious, and I would say a crisis that we're starting to see among young people who are really not showing empathy behaviors, and that is linked to things like bullying, cyberbullying, hate online, and mean and cruel behaviors. Luckily, our brain is neuroplastic, meaning we can always change and we can always develop and work on empathy. And if you want to know how our brain works in the sense of how do we develop habits that may cultivate empathy, I have a video on habits. You can learn about that here. So in summary, empathy is something that is part of the human condition. We are hardwired to feel empathic. We have a nervous system, including specific neurons, mirror neurons, that help us and actually require us to be empathic. But at the same time, we can also lose that empathy through disconnection and not having those social situations that would help cultivate empathy. Luckily, if we make an intention and make it a priority, we can redevelop and nurture those skills. So before I give you today's prescription, I would love to hear your comments on empathy. Please let me know what you think. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Today's prescription is to practice empathy. Practice being in someone else's shoes. Try to imagine what it might feel like to be that person from their perspective. And do that, of course, without judgment, with an open mind. It takes time and practice. It's not just a light switch. This is a neural trail that we can develop, but it requires intention and it requires practice and time. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you found today's episode on empathy helpful.